Hey y'all, come on in. Sorry, I was eating a little piece of chocolate. Come on in, come on in. This is random. If you were in my live yesterday, though, I did say it was a possibility. My bad, that I will go live. I said it would be a girl chat, but I was like, I thought this would be kind of fun to do like a tier list and talk about some past Married at First Sight matches, rank them. Okay, let me pull the rank up. I need to pull that up. Rank them. These are my different tiers. Okay, before we get into all that, let me greet everybody. Welcome to the Rita Rosa. Hey Janelle, hey Green Nobody, hey Marie B. Shout out to y'all for being here. Also, while people are still coming in, check out La Vida Rosa Style, where you can find cute accessories like these. Actually, these haven't been added just yet, but I'm about to add them really soon. Also, the live I did last night, I'm gonna try to have that up. After this live, YouTube has been acting really funny, so I wasn't able to post it yesterday, but I plan on getting that up soon after this live. And yeah. So like I said, I thought this would be fun to do because the Love Island one that we did was fun. And it's all just jokes and stuff like that anyway. Like I'm not like seriously taking anything too seriously with this. I hope nobody does. I'm not trying to send hate anybody's way. I'm not trying to stir up any old mess with any of these contestants. So please do not take it like that. I don't want this to reinvigorate you and, go to their page and cuss them out because majority of the contestants that I have put on this list, their relationships, if they're done, they're done. If they're still together, they're happy. So please don't go back to their page and send them any hate. Also, these are my tiers. I just came up with these. I might add a tier or two maybe if necessary, but my tiers that I came up with was okay. So the top tier is perfectly matched, and I was gonna put successful matches, but when I tried to spell it out, it was too long for the box, so I just put perfectly matched. And I only put that because the people are still married, whether they happy or not, they're still married. We still gonna put them in the perfectly matched tier. And I think that the experts did do a good job matching a few of these contestants. So we will give them their flowers for that. You know what I'm saying? If these people never came on this show, they most likely would have never found each other and not have the families that they have today. So we do have to give them their little piece of credit. They did that one thing. The experts. And then the second tier that I came up with was deserved better / deserves a second chance. And, these are people that came on the show. They seemed like they were ready and open and willing to get married and make these marriages work, make this relationship work. And they didn't really have much to work with. Either they had somebody in these other two tiers that I'm going to mention next. But they just didn't get dealt a fair hand. So, these are people that we enjoyed watching on the show, but we might not have necessarily enjoyed who they were matched up with. And then the next tier is they weren't ready, just was not ready for this. Maybe at some point in the future, they'll be ready to get married. But at this point in time when they were cast on this show, whether they just got out of a long-term relationship, whether they're dealing with some extreme trauma, whether that was from their childhood or a past relationship or whatever, they just were not ready. And yeah, they just were not ready. And the last one is toxic. Now, these are the people that should not have even been considered. It's one thing to not be ready, but you still got a decent job, you're a well-adjusted adult, right? And you're not, gaslighting people, you're not displaying narcissistic tendencies, but it's another when you're the complete opposite and you treat your partner like trash and you don't really you don't fit the criteria of being someone's husband or wife. That is the toxic tier. And I know there's some people that have popped up in your heads already if you've seen the show, but we're gonna go over that. I included many people from the past. I want to say 7 or 8 seasons, but I didn't include anyone from the last season because shoot, they'll majority of them will end up in the toxic. Majority of them will end up in the toxic tier. There was no point in including them. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started. And the first person up on the list is Katina. And I'm going to put, let me see. I want to put Katina in the deserved better / a second chance because who she was married to, Olajuwon, he was more than a handful. And I feel like the moment she told him that she had been in a previously abusive relationship, he completely used that against her and really verbally attacked her, embarrassed her, and even after the show, cheated on her and just humiliated her in many ways. So I do think she deserved better. I was thinking about putting her in the wasn't ready, but I do think that had she been matched up with someone different, that she would have had a much better outcome. So I'm gonna put a deserved a second chance. Next up we have Zach. Zach goes in the toxic category because I don't know if y'all remember, but Zach very much played the victim in this situation. And I'm not saying that, he was married to Hurricane K, okay? But he also was doing things off camera that was very different to how he was acting on camera, and he was gaslighting her in many ways. He wasn't coming home. He was just doing things that I'm not saying was making her crazy, but definitely making her look crazier than what she should have been. And then it came out afterwards. Well, first of all, he started dating Bao, which I thought was really weird because they all started the process together, and I don't care that both of y'all ended your relationships in the experiment, however toxic they may have been, but they started dating. I thought that was weird in itself. But then it comes out that he was cheating on Bao, and there was a whole expose exposing him. And really, pretty much, I felt vindicated when it came to Zach because a lot of people didn't see where I was coming from. But when he got exposed, they saw what I was saying about him. So he goes in toxic. Can we put abusive under toxic? Like, I think 5 is good because toxic doesn't equal abusive. Like, Zach isn't comparable to Chris. I agree. It's not as bad, but I feel like it's still in the same general tier of they should not. But then again, I guess I see what you mean by that. But I'm just gonna keep everybody in toxic. another word similar. See, that's the only thing. It's hard to come up with like different names because I don't want to place like horrible labels on people. Toxic behavior. Let's put toxic behavior. I don't mind changing it to that. Okay. And yes, I do agree. Chris can be in a category all by itself. So how about we do this? We'll just have a Chris tier, and anybody on that level of Chris, we can put. He can have his own tier. Hold on, let me fix the color. Okay. Okay, so next, let's move on. Okay. Y'all, I'm not gonna lie, I don't even remember her name. Is it Kelsey? I feel so bad. I do not remember her name. Y'all, I was gonna put a forgettable tier, but I thought that would be rude. But low key, forgettable. I forgot. Like, I remember who she was married to, and I can't even remember his name. I remember, a lot of people thought she wasn't attracted to him. Child, I don't remember who this woman is. I'm gonna have to come back. I don't remember her name. I don't even remember her season. I'm gonna put her in wasn't ready. Okay. So next we have, was her name Lindsay? Now I can't do this the whole time, y'all. I'm sorry. It's crazy. So I remember some of the rest of these people, but I do not remember the next two. Was her name Lindsay? I don't want to be calling her Lindsay and her name wasn't Lindsay, but I'm going to put her in. Okay, that's Lindsay. Okay. I'm going to put her in wasn't ready as well, because the guy she was married to, he had his own problems, but I thought she had exhibited a little bratty behavior. I think she needed a little growing up to do, from what I remember. Is that the girl that was married to the Hispanic guy that likes Dungeons and Dragons? Yep, that's her. That's her. That's her. I'm just gonna put her in wasn't ready. Okay, next we have Mirla. Now, what category should we put Mirla in? Because a lot of people felt like Mirla was toxic. A lot of people felt like she didn't give Gil a chance. And I personally feel like they were mismatched. I feel like she wanted someone, she needed someone who felt the same way she did financially. They were mismatched financially. He's more of a 50-50 type of person, and he likes to be frugal, and she likes to enjoy the fruits of her labor, and she also made more than him, and I feel like she looked down upon that, on top of the fact that she said that she doesn't like bald-headed men, and even though Gil was attractive, she just wasn't attracted to him. So y'all might not agree with me, but I'm gonna say Mirla deserved a second chance, because I feel like she was mismatched, and I don't think she was necessarily toxic until the very end, where I forgot what happened between the two, but there was a miscommunication and Gil got his heart broken. But I feel like if they were never mismatched, that would have never happened. I don't think she did it on purpose. Okay. This man right here, I don't remember his name, but I remember his behavior. I'm teetering between toxic and wasn't ready. He definitely was not ready. I think, he was focused way too much on the physical. He was not able to actually open himself up to his wife. And I feel like he never really gave it a chance. And I don't think he did it in a malicious way. So I'm just gonna put him in wasn't ready. But yeah. Yeah, his name is Eris. Thank you. I don't think he's a bad person. I just think he's one of those people that should not have come on this show because you're not open enough. You have to be really open-minded to something like this. And also, he was dealing with some things personally that I feel like he needs to get through. So I'm just gonna say wasn't ready. Next up, we have Brett. I'm gonna put Brett in deserves a second chance because she was with that guy. I forgot his name. Was it Chris? She was with that guy, and once again, I don't think he was really open to it. I feel like they had different political stances, and once he found that out on the honeymoon, it kind of was downhill from there. Ryan, thank you. She was with Ryan, and I don't know. I feel like a part of me feels like he did the show for clout anyway, because afterwards, wasn't he dating someone else from a different season? I can't remember who, but he was dating somebody else from a different season. And then the next thing you know, he was dating one of the girls from Love is Blind. So personally, I really think she got dealt a bad hand with the partner she was matched up with. Brett could have worked with someone else. Ryan was not giving her assurance. Thank you. Yes, because wasn't Ryan with someone from Love is Blind? Yes, he did. I posted it on my community tab. If I felt like scrolling back, I would. But yeah, I was like, so it makes me kind of think he did the show for clout anyway. Stacy, something like that. Something like that. He was dating somebody else. Okay, now let's move on to y'all know his name. I should have pulled up their names because I got all their faces, but I should have wrote their names down as well. But I'm sure one of y'all will tell me in the comments. No, that's not Johnny. That's the he was married. He was on a different season. I can't remember his name. Woo? No, he's from Survivor. I don't know, but I'm gonna put him in the wasn't ready category as well. He just wasn't sure of himself. Ben, thank you so much. That was Ben. Thank you, y'all. He was with Morgan. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So this was Ben. He wasn't ready. I feel like he just wasn't confident within himself. And I feel like, he had some growing to do as a man before he could be somebody's husband. Very nice guy. And I just think that Morgan was, she's kind of like in her I hate all men era. If you ask me, nothing Ben could do would have been right. She was just ready to pick at every little thing that he was doing. And I think she's on this list too. We'll get more on her later, but I feel like Ben, even not being matched up with someone like her, wasn't ready. So all right, next let's move on to now girl, I know her name. I know her name. Y'all, I promise you, I'm just going blank because I'm on camera. I had to type these people's names and look at their names, looking up these pictures. Okay, so it's not like I know who this is. I can't remember. Alexis, thank you. So Alexis, okay, I'm gonna put Alexis in this category only because of who she was matched to. I feel like had she been matched with someone else, we might have gotten a different version of Alexis. I think anybody would have had a hard time dealing with old dude. Y'all go ahead and put his name in the comments because he's next, and I forgot his name too. But I feel like, I feel like she got dealt a bad hand, and that's what I mean by that tier is they deserve a second chance. She was being toxic on purpose. I feel like she was matching his energy. I feel like, she wasn't attracted to him necessarily. So yeah, maybe some of her behavior could be attributed to that. But just nobody would want to deal with his antics. I don't know one person that would want to deal with somebody that acted the way that he did. So that's the only reason why I'm gonna put her in second chance. And I'm gonna put her ex-husband in toxic, because he for sure wasn't ready. But I feel like many times he was taking out his insecurities on her. And I don't know, he just kind of was unfair in the situation. He for sure wasn't ready. He was very immature. And just to come to find out, I just for a little context, he did say that he was experiencing how do I put it? A medical deficiency where he produced too much estrogen or not enough testosterone or something like that. And so after the show, he has gotten all that stuff regulated, and he said he's living a much better life. So maybe that's what caused him to act like that. I'm not gonna put it all on that, but it could, because he wasn't just getting into it with Alexis. He was getting into it with cast members as well. So we're not just gonna, that's the reason why I put him in toxic, because it wasn't just between him and Alexis. He would go off on some of the cast as well and made some wild accusations at the reunion that were unfounded. And I'm just like, yeah, you was just toxic, sir. You were just toxic. Hopefully he has grown since then, but he was toxic. Yeah, that blind item. Yeah, I remember that too, Alexis. So yeah, he's with a white woman now. Which, look, don't you picture him, like, if you put him with anybody, wouldn't it be a white woman? Like, I know I would. But next up we have he was married to Jasmina. But anyway, while y'all put his name in the chat, what tier should he go in? I'm between second chance or wasn't ready. Michael, thank you. I'm between those two because Jasmina wasn't attracted to him. And I feel like because of that, their relationship was doomed, right? So had he been matched with someone else, it might have had a different outcome. We might have seen a different version of him. The only reason why I second guessed whether he wasn't ready was because he did not lie, but he lied by omission, not telling Jasmina that he had a female roommate. But I wouldn't say that's enough to say he wasn't ready. He seemed like a nice guy. And he handled Jasmina very well, because she would talk to him straight up like he was a child. Like she was a principal and he was a student. It's hard to truly judge people when they have a checked out spouse. Agreed. That's why I say, I think, if you have a spouse like that who didn't really give you a chance, you deserve a second chance, because it's not fair. Like, a lot. Who's to say how I would act in a situation like that, where normally I could be level-headed and logical? I might lash out. I might, be combative when someone is coming at me that way. So I'm going to go ahead and give him a second chance. Okay, so this man, we're going to put him in perfectly matched, because him and Nicole are still together. He seems like a decent dude. I really don't have much good or bad to say about him. He seems like he treats Nicole well, but I just, he really didn't make much of an impression to me. So yeah, I'm putting him in perfectly matched because him and Nicole, I believe, are still together unless y'all tell me something different. They're still together and they seem happy, so that's why I'm putting him in that tier. Next up, we have Brianna. Once again, perfectly matched. Shout out to Brianna and Vincent. They seem very happy together. Like, we can only go by what we see on social media. People only put their greatest hits on there. But they did have a child, a beautiful little girl, and I believe she's pregnant again. And they just seem happy. They seem like they're well adjusted, and that's one couple that Married at First Sight got right. I didn't think it was last, and it did, and I'm glad they proved me wrong. So kudos to them. And then we have Paige. Paige for sure. I'm gonna put Paige first. Paige deserves a second chance above all else. First of all, Paige should be compensated for her troubles. She should be monetarily compensated, not only from Married at First Sight, but from Lifetime, from Montre, from obviously from Chris. She should have to pay him. He should have to pay her monthly spousal support, even though they went, even though their marriage was a farce pretty much. He should have to pay her monthly for the pain and turmoil that they put her through. She should be suing them for emotional distress and trauma. Exactly. Like, what the fact that they even chose somebody like Chris, I mean, that was straight up for drama and views, and it did make me mad. Janelle, it did make me mad that she had to go through that. It's shameful, and that marked to me the decline of the show itself, even including a man like this, and allowing this woman to be drugged the way that she was. Very unfortunate. And I she didn't she recently have a baby? Shout out to her. She recently had a baby. I think she's engaged. She seems happy now. She seems to be in a better place. I'm happy for that, but I'll never forget the way this show did her, and the horrible coupling that she was in. So shameful, especially because we all know they wouldn't have put a white woman in Paige. Exactly. And then they chose a woman who was devout and was one of those people that, no matter what, I took these vows and God put us together for a reason, and chose one of those people that would stick beside him. You can't tell me that was done by accident. So yeah, she definitely deserves better. She's at the top of the list. Paige, we all knew she deserved better. We said that the whole time. So next, let's move on to this man right here. I'm gonna put him in deserved better, second chance. Yeah, from what I remember, the lady he was with, Haley. Why can't I remember the lady's names and not the man's name? But the girl he was with, she didn't give him a chance from day one either. So he really didn't get a chance. He was very he was trying. He wanted to. I think he needed someone like a Brett. I just looking at this category, he probably needed someone like Brett. She would have been way more open. His name is Jacob. Okay. She would have been more open. He just needed somebody to give him a chance. Like, Haley didn't want to give him a chance. She was focused on looks, and I don't know. That is Mr. 80s, and he ate steak and eggs every day, which I know he was blowing up their bathroom. But anyway, let's move on. Mika, she's another one. Like, she literally was matched with a pathological liar. And people had the nerve to, still to this day, whenever Mika is brought up on my page or on this channel, people still feel like Mika was, ran her mouth too much or whatever they have to say. I'm telling you right now, y'all would hate me. If y'all thought Mika was bad, Mika gave him way more chances than I would have. Okay? I feel like she gave him so much grace for someone to be lying to her face consistently. And he didn't just lie to her, he lied to everybody about his job and where he worked. And she actually went up there to go to one of his yoga classes and he's the janitor. Yeah, no. She deserved to pop off way more than she did. Okay, and that's where we got Montre. That's where we get Montre from. Anytime you hear Montre on this channel, if you haven't seen this season, it's because her husband Michael was trying to show her a job offer or offer letter or something like that he doctored up and it was fake. And when she realized that he was lying about it, she broke the fourth wall and called for Montre, one of the producers behind the scenes. And it's always, ever since then, it's been a staple on this channel to say Montre when somebody is acting out of line. Okay, we need to get Montre on the line. But yeah, y'all would have hated me. Because for someone to constantly be lying to your face, she actually handled that much better than a lot of people would have. That yoga scene will never not be funny. Okay. I don't think it was necessarily people sticking up for Michael, but like indirectly they were, because they didn't like her attitude. And it's like, anybody will have an attitude. Like, I'm gonna have an attitude if you lie to my face. I'm not finna be Mary Poppins and Mother Goose and sugarcoat my responses to that. I'm so sorry. Anyway, whew. This next contestant is in a league of his own. He got his own tier, okay? Because he should have never even, I cannot believe they ever even accepted his application. I think we all knew the first moment he came on screen what time it was with him. Alexa said jail. For real though, like the fact that he was able to do all of these antics, sleep with Paige, the next day tell her he was not attracted to her, on the honeymoon reveals that his baby mama was pregnant, which a baby never came out of the situation. A lot of people question whether or not that was true, or maybe this was a whole ruse for him to come on the show in the first place and be able to get out of the marriage. He was just, all of his behavior was disgusting. I'll never forget that scene with Pastor Cal, where he was pretty much saying, Paige, in so many words, that Paige was ugly, that he was not attracted to her. And, you could have put me with another beautiful Black queen, a beautiful Asian queen, a beautiful white queen. Like, he was being so disgusting, his behavior. And then on top of that, not only his behavior on the show, off the show, he was constantly going online, crashing out, exposing this person, exposing that person, like left and right. He literally exposed every single person on the show that he could. I forgot. And the way that his dad was talking to Paige, I forgot about that too. Like, I forgot exactly what he said, but basically saying that Paige needed to be a servant for her man or something like that. Like, all of it was disgusting. And like I said before, Paige deserves she deserves a settlement. She deserves all the money for having to deal with all that pain and turmoil. And y'all know what's even crazier? Chris is trying to rebrand. I see him in the blog comments like saying things that uplift women, like, but pretty much he's pandering and saying different things that uplift women, or kind of playing that role of a Derek Jackson in the comments. And people are falling for it. People are liking his comments, and I'm just like, do y'all not know who this is? Are y'all really gonna allow this man to rebrand into the new Derek Jackson? Because it can happen, y'all. It can happen. Even with this man's track record on this show and online, it can happen. And he could possibly get followers and blow up like that. Chris wanted to fight his pastor. I forgot all about that. Chris wanted to fight his pastor. It's just so much. Like, he was completely, he was like endlessly just negative and a jerk to every single person. And no one could wrangle him in. Nobody could check him. Nobody. Like, I feel like he's the result of like coddling and spoiling your child and not, teaching them boundaries and consequences and things like that. I feel like Chris is the embodiment of a spoiled brat. And then on top of that, he was lying about all the money he was making. And, I think he got exposed for being broke or something like that. Like, it was a lot going on with him. Like, every day it was something. And he was going off on everybody. I'm surprised, knock on wood, that I was not in that number. Like, I just knew he was gonna come at me one day. But anyway, he was on the news. He's still wearing them high waters with no socks. Oh yeah, that Subway. That Subway that went out of business. He had too much going on. Go ahead and hear another one. He's not as bad as Chris, but I might have to put Johnny in Chris tier. What do y'all think? I was gonna put him in toxic behavior, but the way that he treated Bao and just how manipulative and how he would he threw things. He didn't throw it at her, but he would throw things. He would flip it on Bao and make Bao feel like she was the one in the wrong when Bao didn't do anything wrong. He was the ultimate gaslighter. He had a lot of narcissistic behaviors, and he never took accountability for anything. So yeah, I think I'm going to put him in Chris tier, even though, this seems severe and harsh, but the way he treated Bao, I feel like it's deserved. Yeah, I really didn't appreciate his behavior, and I feel like he's another one that, the experts or somebody, should have reprimanded him, should have checked him, because he went too far in some instances. So next, let's move on to Gil. I'm gonna put Gil in second chances. Because once again, I do feel like him and Mirla were mismatched. I feel like if he were matched with a different woman that shared his beliefs on finances, or was on par with his finances, and frugal lifestyle, I feel like Gil would have been a decent partner. Yeah, I do. I feel like he'll be a decent partner. He seems like he's got his head on straight. They just weren't they were mismatched. So, he might have had his ways, but I don't think he was a bad partner. Okay. Ooh, Elijah Wan. We're gonna put Elijah Wan and Chris tier, child. We're gonna put Elijah Wan and Chris because the way he acted on that show, I'll never forget when they all went out to dinner. Jail. When they all went out to dinner and he acted a fool at the table because she still had a dating app on her phone, but she wasn't even active on the dating app. And he did all that showing out and going off on her when in actuality, he's the one that's cheating. He's the one that got exposed for cheating, not to mention all the times that he talked down on her and basically made her seem like she's not a good wife or capable of being a good wife because she doesn't do the little remedial things you think she should be doing. He really was a jerk to her. And I really hate the fact that they were in this toxic back and forth where she couldn't leave him alone. For all we know, she could be back with him. Like, I hate it. This was one of the worst relationships to ever come out of Married at First Sight because I feel like she's still grappling with it to this day. Imagine Chris and Elijah Wan in the same room, child. Oh, skid marks on his boxers. I forgot about that. And that hairline. He sucked all the life out of Katina, the way she looked by the end of the season. I remember somebody saying, like, she looked so happy and full of life in the beginning, and by the end, she just looked like all the life was gone. I think they back together. See what I'm saying? Like, that's why I feel like this was the worst relationship to come out of this show. They still cannot leave each other alone. She just exposed him. I did a video talking about how she exposed him, I want to say a few months ago, and she claimed she was done and she wasn't going back, and she posted a picture of the mistress and everything. And they have been messing around even while they were married on the show. And if she's back with him, I'm just like, I'm sick. I'm sick about it. Remember when he mentioned how he was mixed and Katina's folks was like, what exactly? But he's one of those people that they think being mixed makes him special. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, child. Let's move on. What was his name, y'all? I want to say wasn't ready. I want to say wasn't ready because, but then again, Nate, thank you. His back and forth with Stasha. It's funny because both of them had the physical chemistry. But when it came down to everything else, they clashed. I'm trying to remember, like, was it finances that they clashed on? She wanted him to sign a prenup. He didn't mind signing it. Wasn't he a scammer? I don't know. I think that people said he was a scammer, but I don't know that there was any proof to that. He did have daddy issues. he definitely had scammer vibes. The only thing is, none of it was proven. Like, he had scammer vibes. I agree, but yeah. I'm gonna put him in wasn't ready because he did come off as immature. I don't think he was ready for a show like this. But I don't, we really don't have proof of any of the scammer allegations. Wasn't he a day trader or something like that? I think people tend to put day traders in the scam category. But anyway, let's move on. What was his name? David? I don't know why I'm saying David. I don't think David is his name. He just looked like a David. I'm gonna put him in wasn't ready too, because he came on the show living in somebody's basement, and I never agreed with that. The lady he was married to, no, I'm not saying that day traders are scammers. I'm saying people tend to put them in the scammer category. He had a finance Instagram giving scammer child. Are you talking about this guy? I don't remember his name. I'm putting him in wasn't ready though. He moved to be on the show. Definitely wasn't. Yeah, he moved to be on the show. He just was not stable. I don't think he was stable. Yeah. I really don't have much else to say because I can barely remember him, but I just remember thinking like, you shouldn't be coming on a show trying to start a family and you don't have your own stable place to stay. Even if you have a roommate, but staying in the basement, just it wasn't given. So next, I liked him. I feel like he deserves a second chance. He had a very nice personality. He was funny. He was charming. But his partner just was never interested in him and took every opportunity to take anything he says and twist it. Like that whole thing about him saying that his type was a fit woman, and she took that and made it seem like he was calling her fat or whatever. I don't know what she was trying to say, but she came on the show to promote her beauty salon, and so he just never really got a chance. He was a good sport about it too. Like some of these other people in the categories, I would say, their behavior might have been different had they been with someone that liked him, but he had a nice even keel personality the entire time. He was a great sport, and it was really unfair that he got matched with her because she didn't appreciate it. She really didn't appreciate it. So who is this? He kept a good attitude even though he knew it was no chance. Exactly. And he was still open. He was open to it to the very end. I like him. He's someone who really does deserve a second chance. Thanks, Alexis. Noi. We're going to put Noi in toxic. Now, even though the whole season I was questioning Steve's occupation, and I feel like she had every right to feel the way she did about that. But Noi was very immature, and I feel like had she been matched up with someone else, she would have had that same level of immaturity. Does your grandmother still love Steve? I don't know. I got to show him to her again. She probably forgot, but I'm gonna show her to him again. She, for whatever reason, she thought he was mixed with. He had black, and I'm like, no, he's mixed with white and Asian, and she just could not. She could not accept that. But Noi was the one who went off on Instagram after. Yeah. Thank you for bringing that up because I forgot. I'm like, I remember her being toxic, but I couldn't remember exactly what happened. Yeah, she was the one. They had a little argument, and she started posting subs on her Instagram stories, and I didn't like that. I thought that was very immature, and she stormed out on him one time when they had an argument. I think he said he didn't like the way she cooked something, and she just stormed out and left for the night. Maybe that was her last straw. I don't know, but I don't know. I remember her being very immature, and even after the show ended, she got online and tried to blast him, and Steve never really gave she never really gave a good reason why she treated Steve that way. I feel like they just weren't compatible. You know what I'm saying? I don't think he did anything dirty to her, but she always wanted to paint him in that light, and I thought that wasn't right. Okay, next up we have Miles. Ooh. You know, depending on who you ask, some feel like Miles wasn't ready. Some would feel like Miles deserves a second chance. Especially because of who he was matched up to. I mean, it was doomed from the very beginning with Karen because she found out who he was before even walking down the aisle. And honestly, I feel like that should have canceled all of that for them. I feel like their whole thing should have been cut. They shouldn't have included her and Miles because that ruins the experiment. And so she saw him beforehand, wasn't attracted to him, you know, had this preconceived notion of him. And it, you know, never truly, well, I'm not going to say never truly, but during the season, never truly gave him a chance. And they tried to make it work for a while after that, and it just didn't. You know, the attraction wasn't there from her end. And Miles also was dealing with a lot of mental health issues that even in a regular relationship would, you know, stress the relationship, but especially married to a stranger. I think that will put too much weight on the relationship. So because of that, I think I'm gonna have to put Miles in wasn't ready. I think I'm gonna have to put Miles in wasn't ready just because of some of the things that Karen said after, you know, whenever they announced their divorce, and she, you know, said what she had to say about the relationship. It just made me feel like Miles wasn't ready either. And I know people probably not gonna agree with that, but I'm gonna say he wasn't ready. Deserve a second chance. I don't think he would have struggled as much with a match who was all in. I see what you mean by that. Maybe you know, maybe he could have handled his mental health better if he would have been matched with someone else. But then again, I don't know. I'm just gonna leave him in the wasn't ready. Okay, Zach. I'm gonna put Zach in toxic because I don't think necessarily he was malicious, but he was just very absorbed, and you know, he wasn't attracted to Mindy, and he just wouldn't say it. I wish he would just be honest and say it. You just were not. Wait, didn't he flirt with her friend or something like that? Hold on, because I think he flirted with her friend, if I'm not mistaken. Zach didn't even. I might have to put him in the Chris tier because he flirted with her best friend. I forgot about that. He was trying to talk to her best friend, and you know, I don't know, they really crushed Mindy, especially on top of the fact that he was trying to put it on her. He was trying to put something on her. I just can't remember the details, but yeah, and he didn't even try. He really didn't try, and I'm just gonna have to go ahead and put him in the Chris category, even though that's extreme. I feel like if you're talking to somebody's friend behind their back, I feel like you deserve to be in Chris tier. You're doing a bit too much. If you can't be faithful within 2 months of being married, then you're beyond toxic. Woo! Now we have Hurricane K. Uh Whew. Hurricane K. I might have to put her in Chris tier for that scene alone where she was throwing everything across the room because anybody could have got hurt in that situation. Yeah, she was a little bit beyond toxic. She might have to be the first female to grace the Chris tier. Yeah, Michaela, and I wanted so bad to be able to defend. I'll never forget. I wanted to defend Michaela so bad this season, but she wasn't giving me nothing to work with. Like she really was a mess that season and very immature. Um, Even though she was dealing with a manipulative, gaslighting partner, we're not gonna act like she was just acting like that, but for no reason. But still, the fact that she handled herself that way is one thing to, go off on somebody or, tell people about themselves. It's another to just wreak havoc the way she did when they had that couples trip. Yeah. When she crushed them Clorox. Yeah. Oh, I forgot about that too. Yeah. She was destructive. She was just destructive. All the tables in my house just flipped over when you said her name. That's funny. That's funny, Mr. Ali Wooda. That's hilarious. Oh, that bee metaphor when they were sitting under the tree. Yes. Oh my God. Yes. Y'all, I ain't gonna lie, that was a good season. Even though the season was toxic, it was filled with toxic couples, and those people do not need to be together. But it was very entertaining that season, to say the least. He was a gaslighter, but didn't her family was the one who gave her the nickname Hurricane K. So we can't even all the way blame it on Zach. But he was stoking the fire. The fire existed already, and it just turned into a forest fire. Okay, dang, we got a lot to go. I put so many on this list. Good grief. What time is it? I might have to do the other half another day because dang, this is like an hour already. Um, Eric, we're gonna put him in toxic. We're gonna put him in toxic because um I didn't like the way he was trying to be controlling. Yeah, Virginia was immature. Yeah, Virginia was drinking and being drunk all the time. And, for whatever reason, she just, kind of was out of control. But he also was trying to treat her like a child. Controlling and lying about that cat allergy. Yeah. I forgot about that. He sure did. Because he didn't want the cat in there. So he lied about having a cat allergy. That's some next level manipulation. For real. Drunkard. I forgot Chris called her a drunkard. He ate that one little thing. I don't even want to give him credit for that, but that was funny when he called her a drunkard because she lives up to that name. All right, next up, what's his name? I'm gonna put him in second chances because I feel like his partner, I do feel like his partner was doing the most. Yeah. I feel like I can't remember exactly what happened, but um he just wasn't having it with his partner. And I feel like under different circumstances he could have been a decent partner to someone else. Gerald, he looks like a Gerald. I barely remember him. Like I said, I should have added that. I don't remember. I really should add him to the I don't remember category because I barely remember what happened in their relationship. What season was he? He was on the season. He was on the season with Woody and Amani. Because I remember Amani was close with his wife. But I don't remember what happened. I just remember, I do remember his wife being a little off. She was a little controlling herself, but I feel like they were just mismatched. He was with Olivia, but I can't remember his name. Yeah. We're just going to move on. I'm not going to harp on it. Olivia, Henry, Brad. No, it wasn't Henry. It was Brad. It was Brad. His name was Brad. Yes. His name was Brad. And he was with Olivia. And I guess I'll put Olivia in second chances, even though I feel like she was a little toxic. I'll put her in second chances, even though I really don't remember what happened. Like, I do not remember what happened with them. Okay. She deserves a second chance too. I really believe she deserved a second chance because the guy she was with, he was more attracted to her mother than he was attracted to her, which was sad. And he did her dirty that season. He really didn't give her a chance. You would have thought he was Brad Pitt the way he was acting. Like, he had all these high standards. He thought he was better than her because he recycled or something like that. She just didn't really get a chance with him. And she was willing to be all in. Even though there were things about him that she didn't like, she was willing to put her all into the situation. Wait, who was Henry's wife? I forgot her name, but it wasn't Olivia. This is kind of making me want to go back and watch those seasons again, low key, because some of the seasons were good. Then we have Mark the Shark. I'm gonna say Mark wasn't ready, even though he got matched with a bad partner. You know, Lindsay, she was something else, child. She really was. But I just think Mark wasn't ready. The way that he I think Mark had low self-esteem, and you need to work on that before you can be married. And then on top of that, Mark was given a little bit of clout chaser. He's pretty much been trying to talk to every single woman from every single season since the one he's been on. So maybe he came on TV. Maybe he came on this show just to be on TV. I don't know. Kristen and Mitch, thank you. Thank you for telling me their name. The other ones. Henry had a crush on Olivia. I could see that. Okay, Nicole, we're gonna put Nicole up here with her husband. You know, even though I was a little worried about Nicole. I feel like Nicole, you know, her issues would overtake their marriage, but they seem like they're happy to this day. So whatever it was, maybe she's working through it, and maybe maybe they're happy these days. So I'm happy for them. They're gonna go in the perfectly matched stage. Jasmina, I hate to do it. But I really didn't like the way she talked to Michael. I didn't like the way she treated the situation. I wish she would have been a little bit more honest and forthcoming about not being attracted to him, you know? But he seemed like a nice guy, and she just wasn't open to giving him a chance. And just the way she talked to him, once again, she talked to him like he was a child, like she was a teacher and he was a student. Like, she talked down on him. And I didn't like that. So that's why I'm going to put her in toxic. When did this happen? I don't even remember doing this. Vincent. We're going to put him up here with his wife. Even though, y'all, like I said before, I didn't think they were going to last, but they did. They have a beautiful family now. They worked out. It was a beautiful thing. And I'm happy for them. Next up, we have Katie. I'm going to have to put Katie in Chris tier. I'm going to have to put Katie in Chris tier because this man couldn't do nothing right. Derek, and he was a very nice man. He couldn't do anything right. The man said that he wanted to write a song, a Christmas song. She told him that he needed to give up on his dreams. She low-key was stuck on her ex. I remember that. Yeah. She was mean. She was just really mean to him. And it just made it worse that Chris was such a nice guy. And he was handsome. And I feel like on another season, he would have made a great husband to somebody. So the fact that she treated him like that was just so nasty and so rude. And we all were upset at how she treated him. One of the worst wives on the show. I agree. I don't know why she acted like that. Behavior came out of nowhere. Like, she cheated with the ex. Did I know that? Didn't she go get drinks with someone else on the show too? Or something like that? I think that was the season with Brandon and Taylor. Yeah. Yeah, that was a toxic season. That was a toxic season. But yeah, she definitely belongs in Chris category. Oh, Karen. Some people will want to put Karen in Chris category. She treated him like trash and he gave her health insurance. Right. I'm gonna put Karen. Oh, I'm gonna have to put Karen in toxic. I'm gonna have to put her in toxic because I do think she wasn't ready, but I just didn't like the way she did him on the show. I just don't like the way. And yeah, she was uncomfortable. Yes, she's dealing with her own mental health. But yeah, I don't know. I don't like the way she treated him during the season. Now, maybe afterwards, they built their relationship and it was better. But personally, I feel like the main reason why she got back with Miles, or not back with him, but why she latched on to Miles after the show is because she saw how all the women were all over him. And it was kind of like proving everybody wrong type of thing. Besides like actually, wanting to be with him. Yes, that thing with the calendar. I knew it was. I was trying to think of what happened during the season. I didn't like that calendar thing because she really tried to make it seem like he was going to force himself on her on that day. And I didn't like that. I didn't like that. I didn't like the implications of that. They stayed together so they could sell couples trips. Okay. And then they did everything to monetize their relationship and make all this couples content. And then when they break up, they get mad because people ask why y'all broke up or when y'all broke up or are y'all broken up. Like, I didn't like the way they reacted to that either. us Milets. I still want Miles. He's a single man. Maybe you can hop in his DMs, child. I don't know. Welcome, Simi. Welcome to my stream. Okay, Stasha. I don't know where to put Stasha. I want to say second chance, but for some reason I'm remembering her being a little messy that season when she was going back and forth. She was going back and forth with other people's husbands. She stayed on Nate's head. And Nate, I do think Nate deserved some of it, but I don't think he deserved all of it. I think Stasha would have been better with a donor first, not necessarily a husband. Ooh. Stasha was messy, but I don't remember what she did. Me either. I know she was messy. I remember her going off on other people's husbands and being like a little bone carrier and repeating rumors and stuff like that. I remember her doing that, but I can't remember exactly who did what. So I'm gonna put her in second chance because she was a little messy, but I don't think that made her a bad partner. She sure did curse out Mitch. I think Mitch deserved to be cursed out, didn't he? I don't know. I'm just gonna put her in second chances. Amani, one of my favorite couples, half of one of my favorite couples from this show of all time. The experts did that. In fact, I'm just gonna put her and Woody up here at the same time since they're right there. They did that. Like, they're still going strong to this day. They have had 2 children at this point, 2 beautiful little boys, and they're going strong. And they're the type, they almost give me hope when it comes to this show that maybe they can get back on track. Oh, I'm sorry. Hey y'all, I hate to get off of here so abruptly, especially since we have so many to go, but maybe I'll just have to finish this another time. I just have an emergency, I have to go. But thank y'all for being in the live. And I hate to end it like this, but I have to. Sorry.